Now before you think that this video is going to be social commentary, I must warn you, this video actually is about books. First I must clarify some things. I didn't make a video yesterday because I was at a Cardiff gathering. You'll see some clips from that gathering at the end of this video. And if you did attend a gathering yesterday and you're watching this video, you might notice I'm still wearing the same t-shirt. Why is that? Because I really like this t-shirt. I'm very proud of it. It's one of the best things I think I've ever designed. Why have you been wearing that hat in your videos lately? I mean, you're wearing it in this one and like the last Vlogger Alliance video. Well, Josh with the extremely messy hair, I think you've answered your own question. On to books. I like books. They're pretty magical, and until recently I couldn't stand the idea of ruining books. That is, bending the spine of a paperback, dog-earing, etc. But recently I've got over myself and I see that those things can give a book more character. But I still maintain that aesthetics are a very important part of a book. So today I'm going to talk about some of my favourites. As a general rule of thumb, hardbacks are generally better looking than the paperbacks. Of course, there are some exceptions. Ready Player One by Ernest Cline is my favourite book at the moment. It's thrilling, nerdy, funny and impossible to put down. I had not heard of this book when I picked it up. In fact, it was the cover that attracted me to it in the first place. I was in Waterstones looking to buy The Perks of Being a Wallflower, and it was in an offer, 2 books get 1 half price type thing, so I had to look around to find another book. I considered buying Life of Pi, but all they really had was the movie cover, which instantly turns me away from a book, because almost always the quality of the books with the movie covers are far inferior to the others, because they're normally made on cheaper paper and ugh. So I looked around, and in the sci-fi and fantasy section I saw this book. I loved the beautiful illustration on the cover with the glossy words on top of it. It seemed quite reminiscent of like an old video game type look with the slightly rounded font, sort of reminding me of the fonts on like the Pac-Man games. I recently invested in the hardback too, which is also gorgeous. That great font is still here, but the cover is much more simplistic. Only illustration being a little pixel art person here jumping for a key in the middle of the O. This continues the theme of retroness, which I love, in case you can't tell from my sort of pixel art logo. If you love 80s pop culture, you should definitely check out this book. And if you don't, it's still a really good adventure book. And sticking with the theme of adventure, there is the spine of this book, which is a labyrinth, which is another symbolic representation of the book. And this is so good. I love it. Oh, I love this book. This book is so good. Some other examples of some great paperback books is this Penguin Classic version of George Orwell's 1984, which is genius and gorgeous and simple and symbolic, and I hope to get that version at some point because, oh, look at it. Also this copy of Pride and Prejudice, because look, it's awesome. It's graffiti and Jane Austen. That's gorgeous. I picked this up in an Oxfam charity bookshop, which are great places to go to get really cheap and really good books. Also back issues of Doctor Who magazine. Another is the paperback of John Green's Paper Towns. This cover is also now the cover for the new hardbacks, which is a good thing. The original covers pictured here depict a happy and sad Margot, a character from the book. It's a great representation of both sides of Margot Roth Spiegelman, but it also sort of forces the reader to imagine Margot in a certain way, which I don't really like, though you could see that in a symbolic way, but yeah. I generally prefer books that don't have people's faces on the cover. The matte and pin cover is much more symbolic. It shows like one of the main themes of the book, and also it's just very pretty. Some other pretty books I can name off the top of my head is the Harry Potter series, which has some gorgeous illustrations. The UK versions, and I do quite like the illustrations on the US versions as well. They're all very nice. Also this cover of The Hobbit, which was drawn by J.R. Tolkien, is really good. It's simplistic, but it's minimal, but also it shows like grand things, and it sets up the grand universe which is inside of this wonderful book. There's also the book Teleportation Accident, which is not a book that I own or a book that I've read, but I want to own it and I want to read it. But also I want to own it because of its gorgeous cover. It has sort of a 50s type look, but also with the splicing and stuff, it's got a bit more modern art in it. Oh, I love it. I don't even care what the book's about, I want it for the cover. Something I did mention earlier was the difference between covers across the sea. So in other countries, books might have a different cover. One place where this has happened quite badly, and I've not liked the change, is the difference between the US edition and the UK edition of Looking for Alaska by John Green. Here's the UK paperback, which I think is it. Look, it's a bit naff. Personally, I much prefer the smoke cover, the original US cover, to this, which makes it look like just sort of a general, non-specific young adult book, romance book, which for me it really isn't. For me it's more than that. It's probably my favourite John Green book, and I don't want it to be reduced down to a heart in some water. You know, I prefer the American smoke edition. It's more symbolic, it's more pretty, it's generally nicer. Can you tell I like symbolism? I will suggest to anyone who likes books though, that if you like book covers and illustrations, Google like foreign editions of your favourite books, because often the foreign editions are bad, they've got quite bad covers, but sometimes they have gorgeous covers, like the Hebrew version of The Fault in Our Stars. Oh yeah, look at that, that's very pretty. Of course that wasn't this week's recommendation. This week's recommendation, as I mentioned earlier, is Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. My favourite book. You just need to read this book, it is so good. I've put a link in the description for you to buy the beautiful paperback. The beautiful hardback, I may warn you, it's significantly taller than a lot of things, and it's taller than most hardbacks as well. It didn't fit on my shelf, so I've had to put it on a different shelf. But yes, get that. There's also a link to the audiobook. Yeah, I've gotten into audiobooks recently, but listen to the audiobook, the audiobook is really good, and it's read by Will Wheaton. That's right, Wesley Crusher. So, how can you turn that down? I'm going to try and read some more this week, so maybe I'll have a review for you next week, but I might not. I'm not tying myself down to anything yet. I'll see you guys next week though, and goodbye. Gathering, 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 gathering.
Can't tell if taking photo or recording, either way. Hello.
Have man.
Someone around here. Back
I need a hat cave. I need a hat cave. It would be a haberdashery, wouldn't it? It's my hat cave. It's a test every time you go to like a superhero, you're going to change hats.
I should have a towards the angle. Alright, Gab, go in.
Just spin around for a bit. Let's get some shots. Hi! This is a gathering, we're sitting down. This is one of the most interesting things we've done all day.
Don't make it weird.
Don't make it.
Sounds like a ghost. What are you doing? I have no idea.
I love you, man. I don't even know you, but I love you.
I think I made it weird.
We're in love. You've got your camera now. We're gonna have to like spoon hug everyone who films.
Come spoon hug.
Is that what I do?